Self-control is not loud. It does not announce itself, and it does not demand attention. It shows up quietly in moments most people overlook, and it stays steady when everything else is pulling in different directions. Strength is often misunderstood. Many people believe it lives in force, in pressure, or in dominance. They think strength means reacting quickly, asserting loudly, or pushing harder than everyone else. But force reacts, and anything that reacts can be controlled. Real strength begins when reaction is no longer automatic. When your actions are dictated by impulse, you are not choosing. You are responding. And responsiveness without awareness is fragile. It places your direction in the hands of whatever happens next. Self-control is not the absence of emotion. It is the ability to experience emotion without surrendering direction. You still feel anger, excitement, frustration, or fear, but those feelings no longer decide for you. They inform you. And then you choose. That distinction changes everything. Most lives are not damaged by dramatic mistakes. They are slowly eroded by small, unchosen reactions. A message you did not need to check. A thought you did not need to follow. A comment you did not need to respond to. Over time, these small moments shape your inner state. And your inner state shapes your life. This is not about suppressing who you are. It is about deciding who is in charge. Willpower alone is unreliable. It rises and falls with mood, energy, and circumstance. Self-control is something deeper. It is alignment between what you value and what you do, especially when no one is watching. A person with self-control does not rush. They do not explain themselves simply to fill silence. They do not chase every feeling as if it were a command. They pause, and in that pause, they regain choice. Choice is the true source of strength. Not domination, not intensity, but restraint. Restraint requires awareness. Awareness requires effort. Anyone can react. Very few can wait. If you observe carefully, you will notice something consistent. The calmest people in a room often carry the most weight. Not because they seek authority, but because they are not seeking approval. They are not pulled by praise, and they are not shaken by disagreement. They are grounded. And that grounding reshapes how others respond to them. Their words land differently. Their silence feels intentional. Their presence feels composed. This is not intimidation. It is trust. Self-control reveals itself in moments no one celebrates. When you feel the urge to interrupt and choose not to, when you feel provoked and choose clarity over reaction. When you are tired, distracted, or discouraged, and still act according to principle. These moments are invisible, and that is precisely why they matter. Discipline practiced privately builds stability that shows publicly. It creates consistency. Consistency builds reliability. Reliability builds trust, first with yourself, and then with others. There is an important difference between control and rigidity. Self-control is flexible. It adapts without collapsing. You can feel anger without becoming destructive. You can feel ambition without becoming reckless. You can feel pressure without losing coherence. This balance is not weakness. It is mastery, not over others, over yourself. Here is the quiet paradox. The more control you cultivate internally, the less you feel the need to control externally. You do not need to dominate conversations. You do not need to win every exchange. You do not need to prove your value. Your consistency communicates for you. Self-control also changes how you experience difficulty. Challenges become information. Setbacks become feedback. Discomfort becomes data. Instead of resistance, you develop interpretation. Instead of avoidance, you develop response. This does not make life easier. It makes it clearer. Clarity reduces unnecessary suffering. Much of what people call suffering comes from fighting reality rather than engaging with it. Self-control teaches you to work with reality as it is, not as you wish it to be. That cooperation is a form of strength. It conserves energy. It sharpens focus. It prevents waste. Self-control also protects attention. Attention is finite. Where you place it determines what grows. When attention is scattered, effort leaks away. When attention is protected, effort compounds. You begin to choose your pace. You begin to choose your responses. You begin to choose what truly deserves your time and energy. This approach is not rigid. It is disciplined adaptability, the ability to remain oriented while conditions change, the ability to stay consistent without becoming inflexible. Many people look for strength in intensity. They overlook sustainability. But sustainable strength outlasts intensity every time. It does not burn out. It does not fracture under pressure. It adapts. This is why self-control is the highest form of strength, not because it is impressive, but because it is dependable. Dependable under stress, dependable under uncertainty, dependable when motivation fades, when you trust yourself to act in alignment regardless of mood. Fear loses leverage, distraction loses influence, external pressure loses control. You become internally governed. That governance creates stability. Stability creates clarity, and clarity changes everything. Not overnight, not dramatically, but gradually, until one day you notice something subtle. You are no longer trying to be strong. You are simply consistent, and consistency is strength sustained over time. If this perspective resonates with you, not as motivation, but as orientation, remain here. Not out of habit, not out of pressure, but by choice. This is where calm strength is built. One decision at a time. Self-control also reshapes how you relate to time. When you lack control, time feels like pressure. Everything feels urgent. Everything demands a response. Your attention gets fragmented, and your energy leaks away in small, invisible ways. But when you develop self-control, your relationship with time changes. You stop rushing. You stop treating every moment as an emergency. You begin to move with intention instead of impulse. This creates a subtle but powerful shift. You start finishing what you begin. You start honoring your own priorities. You stop borrowing energy from tomorrow to survive today. Self-control also changes how you handle uncertainty. When outcomes are unclear, most people panic or distract themselves. They seek noise to escape discomfort. A controlled mind does the opposite. It stays present. It observes. It gathers information without rushing to judgment. This patience is not Passive. It is strategic. It allows you to respond with clarity instead of fear over time. This compounds. Decisions improve. Regret decreases. Confidence stabilizes. Not confidence based on outcomes, but confidence based on trust in your own process. You begin to trust that no matter what happens, you will respond with alignment. You will not abandon yourself under pressure. That trust is powerful. It removes the constant background anxiety that drives so many people. The anxiety of being unprepared, the anxiety of reacting poorly, the anxiety of losing control. Self-control replaces that anxiety with steadiness, not excitement. Not false optimism, steadiness. And steadiness changes how life feels. Challenges become manageable. Silence becomes comfortable. Waiting no longer feels like weakness. This is why self-control is rare, not because it is complicated, but because it requires consistency when nothing is exciting. Most people quit when there is no immediate reward. They need stimulation. They need validation. Self-control does not offer either. It offers something better. Reliability. When you become reliable to yourself, life becomes less chaotic. You stop negotiating with your values. You stop making exceptions that slowly erode your direction. This is how strength becomes quiet. Not dramatic. Not visible, but unmistakable. And once you experience this kind of stability, you stop chasing intensity. You stop confusing noise with progress. You choose clarity. You choose alignment. You choose calm strength. And you choose it again every single day.